I grab a rock. I tell them, do you think this has energy? No, these things to them are inanimate. They don't contain life. They don't contain consciousness. Even though in the biology class they'll tell you, no, the tree is alive. It has cells. It's doing photosynthesis. There's a process, crystals are growing. They explain to you scientifically, but somehow you still don't equate this as consciousness. And this is a result of this human separation from nature.
Hey, what is going on, guys? So we're going to be responding to somebody very special today. He goes by the name of Who is Prakasaka on Instagram, and he identifies as an American-born mystic. Now, I'm not too familiar with who this guy is and what he's about, but I came across a singular, just quick reel on Instagram from him that confused the out of me. Hey, what is going on, guys? Just a quick point of clarification. The person we're going to be responding to actually goes by the name of Vasquez. He is a spiritual chief or something like that. The reason I thought that the person in the video was actually this dude with the Instagram account Who is Prakasaka was because the video was initially posted on that account and there was like an @ in the video for him. So I just assumed this was the person, but apparently it's this other dude. So when you see this video and you hear me say things like, oh, and then this American-born mystic person thinks this, I'm really referring to the person who runs the Instagram, not the actual person in the video. But either way, it's safe to assume that my criticisms of the dude who runs the social media apply to this dude named Quatli, because very clearly he is not living naturally, and you'll see why that's important to understand as we go on with the video. So just wanted to clarify that. Sorry for the mistake. This kind of shit just happens. He seems to not only be of the belief that plants are sentient beings, but also of the belief that rocks possess energy, or maybe even alive, possibly even conscious. It's genuinely hard to tell if he believes that rocks and dirt are conscious, but as you'll see after watching the video we're going to review today, he seems to lean toward yes, rocks and dirt are conscious. So this dude is many steps above the usual plants rights activists that we cover on this channel who come at vegans for consuming plants who they believe are sentient. This time we're addressing somebody even more fascinating. Somebody who seems to not only agree with the proposition that plants are sentient, but also the proposition that rocks and dirt are sentient. And if not sentient, at the very least, alive. There are many other wild claims you can infer from just this short 1-minute clip outside of just thinking that, rocks are sentient and dirt is sentient, or at the very least alive. So let's go ahead and watch that video and let's just respond to all of the weird claims that seem to be implied or true.
People come to my house, sometimes they're preaching philosophies, and and I grab a piece of earth. I just reach down and I grab some earth and I tell them, you see this? What do you call this? Well, that's dirt. I go, do you think it's alive? And they go, no. I grab a rock. I tell them, do you think this has energy? No, these things to them are inanimate. They don't contain life. They don't contain consciousness. Even though in the biology class they'll tell you, no, the tree is alive. It has cells. It's doing photosynthesis. There's a process, crystals are growing. They explain to you scientifically, but somehow you still don't equate this as consciousness. And this is a result of this human separation from nature. It's an unnatural way to live.
So not believing or being under the belief that rocks and dirt are not sentient, let alone alive, is the product of humans separating themselves from nature. And presumably he extends this belief to people who don't think that plants are conscious. Let's really think about what this means. The reason that I don't have a strong belief in the proposition rocks are alive and conscious, or even plants are conscious, is because of my human separation from nature. It can't possibly be because I'm not convinced of the fact that rocks and dirt possess the biological machinery necessary for life or sentience. No, it's the fact that I'm living a life that is not natural. Now, I am very happy to have been made aware of this information through a recording through his very natural lav microphone. I am also very happy to have been made aware of this information while being given visual access to the way in which this American-born mystic looks through his extremely high quality and natural camera. Who knew that lav mics and extremely high quality cameras grew on trees? But anyway, the reason I don't think that rocks and dirt are conscious or alive is because I'm separated from nature. Surely if I spend enough time in nature, unnaturally recording from a lav mic and high quality camera, I will then believe in the proposition that rocks are alive and conscious. Screw concepts like evaluating if there was enough scientific evidence to support a particular claim. Just no. Live a more natural life and then you'll understand. makes sense. I think all of the scientists that are not convinced of the proposition that rocks are alive and sentient just need to lay on dirt like our ancestors. Then they will believe rocks are alive and sentient. Who needs the peer review process? Who needs, evaluating scientific evidence and holding up claims to scientific scrutiny? Who needs that? Just go live a more natural life and the claim will be made more credible to you. This is how science should be executed from here on out. Now, let's go to the last 15 seconds of the clip because something very insightful was said about living unnaturally.
And this is a result of this human separation from nature. It's an unnatural way to live. And when you're living in an unnatural way, diseases happen. Psychological diseases, behavioral patterns, health habits, unnatural.
When you're living in an unnatural way, diseases happen. He says psychological diseases, behavioral patterns, and health habits. So when you live in an unnatural way through taking unnatural medicine that have been proven to fight disease, disease happens. When you take a shit on a toilet as opposed to just take a shit outside in a more natural sense, a disease is happening. When you record with a lav mic and super high quality camera, both of which are unnatural, disease happens. I mean, this man is literally in the process of having a disease happen within him while professing to us that living unnaturally causes disease to happen. The sacrifice of his health this man is making just to show us evidence for his claim is just remarkable. I mean, what a guy. This man is in possession of an entire social media account, which he regularly uses, which of course is not living naturally because social media is not natural. So think about all of the disease that has happened inside of him since he started his super unnatural social media account. Now remember, he claimed that psychological diseases will also happen if you live unnaturally. I'm not sure what a psychological disease is. Perhaps he just means a mental disorder because there are really no lab tests, brain scans or x-rays or chemical imbalance tests that can verify any mental disorder as a physical condition. Maybe he's referring to Alzheimer's disease, which he possibly defines as a psychological disease. Well, if this is the case, this video might actually be in direct support of his claim that living unnaturally causes psychological disease such as Alzheimer's. Perhaps he has Alzheimer's disease from filming these videos in the first place, which is unnatural, hence is causing disease, and has forgotten that filming a video with an unnatural camera and lav mic will make disease happen. And this has been going on in an infinite loop. Because again, he has Alzheimer's and he's constantly forgetting. Fascinating stuff, guys. Jokes aside though, I mean, this guy really is just the appeal to nature fallacy on steroids. I mean, just think about what it means to believe in the claim that living unnaturally causes disease to happen. Does this mean that if I seek unnatural shelter in preparation for an incoming Category 5 hurricane, as opposed to seek more natural shelter, like maybe a tree above me, that I will be developing some kind of a psychological disease or disease in general? Is that what this means? Am I developing a disease right now as I sit here recording in front of an unnatural camera, unnatural microphone, sitting in my unnatural chair, in my unnatural clothing, in my unnatural home? How can I watch this guy's videos while living naturally when the only way I can watch his videos are on an unnatural device? I'm literally developing a disease as I watch this man's content on my unnatural device, and the point of his content is to help me be rid of disease. Amazing. All of you who are currently watching my video now have a disease. You have a disease in front of you that you didn't have prior to watching my video. If you would like to increase the severity of your disease, please consider doing something even more unnatural and like my video, comment on the video through your technological device that's clearly not natural, and also share it. So in summary, our top scientists are of the belief that rocks are not conscious, let alone alive, because of a separation between themselves and nature, not a lack of evidence supporting the claim that rocks are either alive or sentient in the first place. Totally. And doing unnatural things causes disease, such as recording a video with an HD camera and a lav mic. Glad to see our spiritual guru is living by example. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to increase your chances of having a disease, please consider clicking the link in the pinned comment where you can go to my Patreon and support my work for no more than $1 per month and be given early access to my content. That means early access to disease if you really think about it according to this guy's logic, which obviously who doesn't want early access to disease? And if you're interested, I do have a book going over most, if not all of the anti-vegan arguments you're going to hear online. So if you're interested in that, please also click the link in the bio. It's an ebook, not a physical book, so it's even more unnatural than your average book that's made from trees. So even the ebook will increase your chances of obtaining a disease, which is obviously just amazing. So thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Dude,
Fuck off. I don't want anything to do with you. Don't ever speak to me again. You're a fucking piece of shit.
even vegans don't get your weird, stupid wannabe sense of irony here. Who is your audience? Nobody gets these dumb jokes. Dude,